Hi, I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which brings you the big G for the gospel of Jesus Christ and the little g, all the good things that people do to put that gospel of life into action. Hey, gang, we have a lovely, lovely lady today that has a wonderful story. And because of her wonderful story, she has established a wonderful organization. And this organization has to do with marketing pro-life. And her organization is called Choose Life Marketing. Now, as you know, the enemy, the pro-abortion organizations, they do a great deal of marketing, making their nefarious deeds sound almost like they are good or even perhaps neutral in the dastardly things that they do. For instance, hate to say this, folks, but you know what they do? They kill babies. They kill babies. And they make it sound almost nice, and some of their people are even bragging about what they do. Could you imagine? They're bragging about, oh, I'm so happy I had an abortion. Oh, it's just a wonderful experience. I mean, folks, they need a checkup from the neck up. All right? Let's be fair and honest about this. So we have Nelly Roach with us today, and Nelly is going to tell us a little bit about her story, but then to talk about marketing pro-life. If you are interested in pro-life, or you have a pro-life organization, you have to know how to market yourself and your organization. Marketing is huge. And the better you market, the better you're going to get your message out there, and the more babies you're going to save from execution from Planned Parenthood and other nefarious organizations. Okay, well, Nelly, welcome. Nice to see you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Father Horsey. It's quite a pleasure and an honor to be here.
And me and Nelly saw each other, I guess, back in March when we met. She came down here to beautiful Naples, Florida, and we had a summit for life. It was a one-day event, but, ladies and gentlemen, this year it's going to be a 3-day event. Maybe it's not this year, next year. 2024, a 3-day event with the superstars of the pro-life movement coming down here to Florida to deliver their message. So look out for the date sometime in March here in Naples, Pro-Life Summit. Nelly, tell us about your life. How did you get involved with marketing pro-life?
Oh boy, I think this was God's plan and not mine. For me to be so honored to be able to serve His kingdom, and that's basically where my story began. I grew up in a very Catholic home. My I was raised by my grandmother on the islands, and my family was very pro-life, and a lot of the burdens and the responsibility of just leaving a better legacy was put on my shoulders. So yeah, that's where my story comes from, a place of um, just obedience. When I was uh, 18 years old, I found myself in a Planned Parenthood in Columbia, Missouri. And the journey that led me to that place was a lot of disobedience and a lot of pushing aside what my family taught me.
You see, folks, this is what young people do a lot. They kind of want to exert their own authority. And, like Nelly's saying, a lot of disobedience. There's disobedience to parents, sometimes disobedience to school officials, disobedience to the law. And then, of course, the big one, disobedience to Almighty God. So, Nelly, then you're in this Planned Parenthood place.
I am.
Uh-huh.
And it speaks to the faithfulness and the good character of our God, because He pursued me, because I knew Him, because I was raised with Him. And even though I turned my face from Him to disobey with freedom, He pursued me. So
It's like the Hound of Heaven. Read the Hound of Heaven, folks. How God pursues us like a hound, doesn't let up on us. It's a great poem.
Yeah, he pursued me. I sat in a Planned Parenthood, justifying all of my actions, saying, I lost my father. I am been given the burden and the responsibility for my family. And it was a really dark moment. Very, very dark moment. Because I think God was with me the whole time. I sat there and I knew it was wrong just because of my upbringing. And because God was there with me. I heard this voice. It was just like this really calming saying, choose me, choose me. And I really thought I didn't, I said, God, you just don't know. You don't understand. And they called my name. And so I stood up. Turning left would have gone to the demise of my child. Turning right would have me choose him. And so as I stood up, I heard again, choose me. So I turned right and I walked out.
Wow, how about that, folks? That little voice, still small voice, that's conscience. God's talking to us. And when we have to make the right choice, we have to listen, because God never, ever lets us go. Okay, so you walked out, and I think
I walked out, just in reflection, I was listening to the wisdom of our culture and wasn't listening to the wisdom of my God, who pursued me, who loved me, who faithfully held me as I went through my turmoil and my chaos. It was a hard road, but it was learning. That journey made me lean on him and just saying, okay, there is a purpose to this. So I went on, I finished school. I then met my current husband. He adopted my son that I chose life for, that God pursued me to save, and did a lot of reflection and growing and fell into obedience. And we then opened up a marketing agency, and it was wonderful, Father Orsi. I was Small Business of the Year. I was Businesswoman of the Year. All of the accolades that did nothing for me, like in terms of fulfillment. And one
Can I
day,
ask you a question? Did you have a background in marketing? How did you do this?
My background was in math. Of all things, my degree was in math, and my husband, his is in music, and we just said, okay, well, marketing and spreading good news seems to be the thing that we're really good at. Mm-hmm. So we kind of fell into it. So we became students of it and worked through it. We did well. And the thing that I believe, the nugget that sort of held us in a different place, is that we genuinely wanted to help those who came to us for help.
Okay, but I want to ask you about the marketing. All right, both of you didn't study marketing, and then you said we're going to get into marketing. Well, what did you do?
What did we do?
Yeah, how did you? You just put journey. You advertised. So, I understand how you did the marketing. Yeah.
Okay, so we met at work. It was for a communication software company. The communication software company basically connected businesses to businesses through the internet. And during that time, intranet was the platform, and everything that we did that was very, very successful.
Now, this is the one that Al Gore invented, right? That's the
Yes.
one. All right.
During
I want to
that
get this
time, he
clear, folks. You
invented
know, we
it.
got to credit where credit is due.
He proclaimed it for sure. Um, we then we it was a communication software company, and then the internet was starting to be available for consumers. And during that time, my husband was the web developer of this company, and he said, there are businesses out there that need this so that they can communicate to their own consumers so that they can prosper there. And so we said, okay, we believe that technology was not marketing. We believe that the messaging and the technology was marketing, like marketing accelerated, or technology accelerated marketing and accelerated messaging, which we still believe to this day. And that is what has really increased our footprint and from a nationwide standpoint. We don't believe that technology without the right messaging is going to be effective. We don't believe that the messaging without the right technology is going to be effective. We believe together with balance of tradition and technology allows for an acceleration of messaging. And that's what we held on to. That was very effective and profitable through our initial marketing agency. So we get all of these success and accolades, and then I sat and said, but I don't feel fulfilled. And I was speaking at a Public Relations Society of America conference. I'm just talking about digital marketing, exactly sort of the way that we have talked about here, the balance of tradition and technology, understanding your messaging and using technology to accelerate your message. And a member of the Vitae Foundation approaches me after the conference and says, I think you can help us. That was a divine communication, Father Orsi, specifically because the pro-life movement and being pro-life is a very polarizing subject. How did
She's
she
right,
know?
folks. It's polarizing. If you're speaking, about pro-life, you're going to find yourself with a lot of opposition.
Yes. And some very heated opposition. So how in the world does she come up to me, not knowing me, and saying, I think you can help us? I find myself in a boardroom with the president of Vitae, and I do my whole marketing spiel. I say that we can do this, we can do that, accelerating message. And then I was done, and he looked at me and he said, so Nelly, what's your story? How did he know I had a story? So tears. I was brought down into a very humbling place where I said, I have the heart for this because of, and I told him my story. And that's what had ignited my obedience. Several months later, I had been praying, like, Lord, where do you want me to go? What is your wisdom? What is your guidance? What do you want me to do? And I woke up one morning and I said, I need to tell my son. I need to tell my son. Because there was a lot of imploding inside me because I was afraid that my son would think I didn't love him. And that is what the enemy would want me to think about. And it just wasn't what it was the stronghold that had me. So we sit across from each other, and I said to him, so I want to open up an agency to service pregnancy resource centers. He said, that's cool. We are pro-life. I never had to convince anyone in our family. It was a fundamental foundational thing, which is what brought so much shame in my heart. And so I tell him the story, and I look over and I say, what do you think, bud? And he says to me, thank you for choosing life for me. And I said, okay, we're opening Choose Life Marketing. That was the pivotal point of my obedience going 100%. Because I knew that the enemy was in my head when the enemy made me believe that my son was not going to love me. When the enemy made me believe that I didn't have a place in the movement because of my behavior in the past.
As you can imagine, producing this wonderful program, Action for Life, it costs a great deal of money. We're going to need your help. So if you would like to donate to keep this good news program on the air, please go to your computer, your cell phone, actionforlife.net. Hey gang, I know a lot of you sometimes can't watch all of our episodes of Action for Life. However, we have a solution for that. All you have to do is go to YouTube and search for Action for Life Florida. And you can catch up on all the shows, and guess what? Extra added bonus, you get to hear my weekly homily. So, YouTube and you make a fine couple. And Nelly, I want to ask you now, you said, this is what I'm going to do. Well, tell us what you do. So suppose I have a pregnancy resource center. And I said, yeah, you know, I really need some help to get my message out there, to show people we're in the community, to tell them what we do. So I call you up and then you say, well, this is what I can do for you. Tell us what you do.
Well, I asked them, every pregnancy center is actually very different based on the community that they live in. So let's say someone is in St. Louis and someone is in Naples, or a pregnancy center is in St. Louis, a pregnancy center is in Naples. Completely different culture, completely different ways of living. So what I typically do is I ask a lot of questions. Who do you target? Who do you want to reach? How are you currently reaching? What is your mission? Are you in line with your mission? Are you reaching more abortion-minded women this year than you did last year? Are you measuring? I just get to know them. And what happens through that conversation is you sort of understand the pain points and what you're trying to solve. Then we create a plan, and then we accelerate it with digital marketing.
Okay, what would a plan look like? So you say, okay. We have this plan, and what would be, give me just like what a structure would look like.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you a plan for a pregnancy center that's actually in Palm Beach County.
Okay, the other side of the state.
Yeah, other side of the state, the Atlantic side of the state. Real story. Pregnancy center who wanted to be laser focused on abortion-minded, abortion-determined women. What I do is I create a search volume where Google actually can tell me how many searches in that given area that has uh, had searched for abortion related keywords. How many people, how many searches on abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, abortion pill. And I see that, wow, your search volume is very high, which is really great, which means that you are in the right place in what your mission is. There are women around you, this many searches, men, women, in this many searches that need to know that you are there for to help them. So what we have done with this particular center is we created their website, we built their website to be able to reach her in her community. So the backgrounds and the images would be as it would be different there in Palm Beach County than they would be in upstate New York. Completely different. And so what we did, we created their website to have imagery that allows her to be seen in that environment. So number one. Number two, we did search engine optimization so that when she searches for abortion clinic or abortion pill or any abortion related keywords, we show up as part of the conversation. So they become on the first page, and they are currently on the first page. So we're able to do that. That's organic. And then we say, but what if she's searching for abortion pill, abortion clinic? What can we do to bring her in? So we create a paid search strategy. Basically, it's an ad. So when she's searching for abortion pill, she sees an ad, she clicks on it, goes to a landing page, and we give her multiple opportunities to contact the pregnancy center. And then once they're done with that, then that is their journey. That happens. The pregnancy center is then responsible for the next processes. We also can basically geofence, so virtually putting anyone who has been to an abortion related website, we want to also serve them the ad. So we're getting them in different aspects of marketing on the digital realm. We're making sure that wherever she is, we show up as
That's
part
fantastic.
of the conversation.
That's fantastic. Tell me about the rate of success. Okay, so some pregnancy resource center buys into your program, and what kind of success do you have? Look, I come from a different generation. I'm still uneasy with online stuff, but I understand that the young people they're born with computers these days. So how does it work out with this younger crowd?
It's very impactful. It's very, very impactful. I think that's why we have gained we have been noticed by our opposition. That is why legislatively across the nation, the pregnancy centers are being attacked from an advertising and marketing standpoint. Very stringent laws, very stringent regulations from big tech. It's because we're being very effective. I think we're making an impact from a digital standpoint. Digital is where she is. She is on social media. She is on the internet looking and researching. Sometimes even and most of the time, even before they talk to their loved ones, they are on the internet trying to solve their their perceived problem. And so the average for a nationwide, they say that in the industry of what we're doing, it's 3%. For Choose Life, we are 14%.
Well, that's fantastic.
So
the average for the nation is 3%, but you're up to 14%.
We are up to 14. We have centers who are at 26%, 30% of the phone calls that they come in are deemed to be abortion-minded or abortion-determined women. And so we do a lot of those, a lot of like analyzing and figuring out from a data standpoint. Remember, my degree is in math, and so my messaging comes from my heart. And so we together, that's the marketing part of the aspect of what we're doing here. Um, we have about 65 employees across the nation. Every single one of them is passionate about being pro-life. It is vetted, and we make sure that anyone who touches a campaign understands the ramifications of doing it wrong. And that allows us to be passionate about searching, researching, and being ahead of trends to make sure that we're meeting her where she is. And so it's been a fantastic journey, and it's my life, and I will continue doing this as long as God wants me to.
This is fantastic. You see, folks, sometimes, you think that something bad has happened to you, like, hey, an unplanned pregnancy, all right? And, you hear from Nelly's story. Well, God spoke to her. He rescued her from committing an atrocity against human life. But then God goes a step further. You see, he's a lot smarter than we are. And he says, I got to get something out of my investment in Nelly and her son. Your son's about 31 now. How old is
Yes.
he? See, I remembered. Pretty good, huh? I remembered. And, she does this fantastic thing and sets up this marketing agency, which is, reaching, hundreds, if not thousands of young women these days. And folks, a lot of times people say, oh, these pro-life people, they're old-fashioned and blah, blah, blah. They're troglodytes. Troglodytes means you don't get along good with technology. But we do. And you got to use the technology of today to get the message out. Use the technology of today. Get that message out there. Nelly, I want to thank you. You've done a great job. God bless the wonderful work that you're doing with the marketing. And hey, folks, I'm for action. Nelly is for action. And I know you are too. We would like to thank our generous sponsors for their wonderful support. Thanks for watching. Please join us next time for Action for Life. I'm for action, and I hope you are too. I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which talks about the gospel of Jesus Christ, the big G, and the little g, all the good things that people are doing to put the gospel of life into action. So please join us for the next episode of Action for Life.